Chapter 3: Mountain-based resorts and managing operation. A mountain-based resort is a place to holiday or vacation located in a mountainous area. The term includes ski resorts, where winter sports including skiing, snowboarding, ice climbing, and ice skating are practiced. Number of ski areas. The number of operating resorts experienced a rapid decrease between 1983 to 1984 and 1993 to 1994, likely because of the increasingly competitive nature of ski industries. So nagdamo na ang nagigimin ski resorts, amo nga nag-decrease gihap ang number and operating resorts kaya iba nagsasara. Ranked distribution of ski areas by size. In 2004 to 2005 ski season, the bottom quartile of resorts by size reported fewer than 38,950 for second quartile and 110,000 visits for a third quartile. The Midwest and Southeast have resorts that are consistently smaller in size compared to other regions. Ski areas by VTF or vertical transport feet per hour or VT-H. So this is a measurement of ski areas ability to transport skier uphill. Amo ito bagan zip line pero pwede ka makasakay. Gin-measure kung gano ang iya pwede mabuhat. So, number of lifts. Average lifts has been increasing over time. It increased from largest resort and least the smallest resort. So, nga di kita top states and top regions by skier visits. Nangunguna ang Colorado, sunod California, Vermont, Utah, New York, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and New Hampshire. Siguro ang New Hampshire diri gudi mountainous area mga guti ay lait skier visits. So capital improvements. During 2004 to 2005 ski season, total expenditures on capital improvement showed an upswing. Spending has increased most on real estate, terrain features. A large number of ski resorts have terrain parks. Roughly 42% have half pipes, 34% have super pipes, and about 11% boast other specialized terrain features. Siguro amoy ni ang mga ginaagian mga nag-i-ski. Sayang rin. Demographics. In 2004 to 2005 season, U.S. resorts logged approximately 56.9 million skier visits. Who was on the slopes? So, dinhi gin-discuss ang mga tao ang demographics usa nga ski area. So, gender. The male to female ratio remained within his historical range with 59% male and 41% female. So, karag signon mas active ang male nga skier kaysa female. Age. The proportion of visitors age 45 and over has seen steady gains, but the proportion of young adults 18 to 25 has been fairly static. Family status. On a national basis, 48% of skiers are part of a family that has children at home. Parents with kids make up 32% and kids aged 17 and under compose 16%. Race and ethnicity. 88% of skiers were white, which is in the same range as the prior season. This ethnic mix has been very stable over time. So, mga white American talaga at mga active na nag-i-ski. Skiographics. Equipment type. Alpine skiers compose the largest segment of ski resort visitors. They accounted for 69%. After the alpine skiers come snowboarders with 26%, telemarkers with 21%, and other types of equipment with another 2%. Ability level. The majority of snow sports participants have an intermediate skill level of 46%. Advanced to expert is 41%, for beginners 9%, and first-timers 3%. Karag signon, mas damo talaga it's skilled skiers ta kaysa hit mga diri pa mag-aram. So, dito talaga era magkarit talaga mag-ski. Number of seasons of participation. Alpine skiing demonstrates a longer history of participation than snowboarding. Roughly 63% of alpine skiers have skied for 10 or more seasons. Season pass ownership. Roughly 27% of interviewed snowsports enthusiasts reported owning a season pass to at least one resort during 2004 to 2005 season. So, ini pinaka siguro VIP card hit mga nag-i-ski. Siguro may dinira mga benefits na nakukuha. Age when first tried snowsports. The median starting age reported by snow sports was 12 years old. Males generally start earlier than females with a young starting age of 15. Method of entry into snow sports. Most snow sports participants started along with their family, 50%. So, darat family nag-skihara, nagtikang hera pag-ski. Started with friends, 34%, with school, 7%, ski club, 3%, another type of group, 4%, and alone, which is 3%. Lessons. In the 2004 to 2005 ski season, both alpine and snowboarding were up. According to ability level, and level 1 lessons were slightly increased. Siguro kay damo correct talaga may baro. Tapos, ang level 2 plus lessons were practically flat. Siguro mga kanin ni mga naglulugaring diri na kailangan ng lesson. Night skiing. Favorite activity, though it does not account for a large percentage. Over 4 seasons leading up to the 2004 to 2005 season, night skiing visits only accounted for about 6.6 to 7.3 of all visits. So, trip characteristics na kita. Day or overnight trip. The majority of 59% respondents said that they were on an overnight trip. So, mas damo talaga nag-go-overnight hit mga nag-i-ski kaysa hit na bisita lahera. So, nights in area. Out of the overnight visitors, the average stay length nationally was 4.8 nights, with a median stay of 4 nights. The longest average stays were logged at resort in the Rocky Mountains. Accommodation type. Rented accommodations were the most popular among overnight guests, with 67% of visitors lodging rentals, 17% reported staying with friends, and okay laha haranihan ski area, while another 16% opted to stay at a vacation unit belonging to friends, family, or themselves. Flight. On a national basis, less than half of ski vacationers flew to their destination. This number is slightly higher than the average during the previous season. Rentals. Today's renters are usually distinguished by being less experienced and less avid than the equipment owners. Ang mga na-rent, kumbaga, may nihiran mga di pagod mag-aram, mga less experienced. Satisfaction ratings. Visitor satisfaction tends to be highest regarding employee friendliness or helpfulness and enjoyment of the experience. Customers are always right. Snowboarders. Snowboarding is represented 28.8% of all skier visits to US ski areas. The figure did not change from previous season, which is 2004 to 2005. Participation by region and resort size. As suggested before, the Pacific West has consistently had the highest rate of snowboarder participation, followed by the Midwest, Southeast, Northeast, and Rocky Mountains. Projections. Nationally, the proportion of visits and snowboarders is expected to rise approximately 4 percentage points from 2004 to 2010. Attitudes. While snowboarders and skiers are integrated at most resorts, friction still exists. Acceptance is better at smaller resorts. Programs and facilities. Virtually all resorts offer separate snowboard lessons and lessons for children. The average minimum age for the latter is 6, with a range from 2 to 10 years old. 2/3 of all resorts have special half-pipes for snowboarders. Almost 90% of resorts run special snowboarding events to stimulate visits. Snow tubing. Prevalence. Snow tubing is present at 46% of all U.S. ski areas. Snow tubing is rather prevalent at resorts in the southeast and northeast. Average visits. In the 2004 to 2005 season, average snow tubing visits increased by 0.6% to an average of 18,271 per resort. The most visits were reported in the Southeast region. Ratio of visits. The average ratio of snow tubing visits to skier snowboarder visits was 6.7% on a nationwide basis. But this is a very general piece of data, as the importance of snow tubing varies widely from resort to resort. Day versus night. The majority of snow tubing visits take place during the day, but roughly 40% occur at night. Pricing. Three-fourths of resorts that offer snow tubing charge by the hour. The average charge per ride depends on the respondent, but the average is $15, with a range from $1 to $8. Expanding to multi-age visitors. Expanding winter activities to draw in more visitors from all ages has recently become a popular option among ski resorts. Results from 2004 survey of 138 ski resorts show that 41% of resorts have snow tubings. 38% have cross-country skiing, and 36% offer snowshoeing. Economic feasibility. So, atin nakatahet financial. Critical variables. 4 critical variables determine whether or not a result will make a profit. Number 1 critical variable, ski area capacity. Number 2, length of the season. Number 3, capital investment. Number 4, revenue per skier visit. Ski area capacity can be viewed in a number of ways: physical and ecological. Ecological capacity takes into account the physical and ecological limitation of the site. Length of the season. For ski areas, the main determinants of the length of the season are weather and climate. Ski areas measure season length in terms of skiing periods. Capital investment. The third critical variable is the amount of capital investment needed to develop ski area. Revenue per skier visit. Determine this figure by totaling all revenue and dividing it by the number of skier visits. Analyzing financial statement. Low solvency or liquidity, measures of the business ability to meet its short-term obligations. High debt to equity. The relationship between debt and equity is a measure of how the business is financed. Business use to the equity is the resort to secure outside debt, thereby leveraging the business. Low operating income. Low operating income results from insufficient revenue and costs that are too high relative to the level of revenue. Low revenue employee. The ratio of revenue to employee is a measure of how efficiently employees are scheduled relative to the volume of business. Low pre-tax profit margin. Low profits are caused by an operating income that is too low to meet the level of overhead that must be paid. Low revenue to asset. A measure of how well management uses the assets under its control to generate the revenue assets. Low return on asset means that net profits are too low and or assets are too high. Low return on investment. When the return on investment is low, the net profit is too low and the worth is too high. Low accounts receivable turnover. This ratio is too high because accounts receivable is too high. The results can be a strain on cash flow. Operating characteristics balance sheet. Net working capital. The largest key areas are the ones with highest working capital balances, though the smallest resort average positive balance as well. Current ratio. Another method of expressing the relationship between current liabilities and current assets. Debt ratio, also known as percent liabilities, indicates as the extent to which a company is financed through debt sources. Income statement. Revenue. Resorts tend to rely on revenue sources in addition to that generated by occupied rooms. The following is a closer look at resorts' various sources of revenue: the ticket yield and the season pass sales. Expenses. During the 2004 to 2005 season, decline in total expenses for the U.S. ski industry was achieved through declines in operating lease expenses, interest, and insurance. This increased total profitability. Critical ratios. Debt to cash flow. An approximate measure of the years that would be needed at the current cash flow to eliminate long-term debt. Operating profit on GFA or gross profit asset. A type of a return on asset ratio which is calculated by dividing the operating profit by the gross fixed assets. Profit before tax on equity. A measure of the stockholders' or owners' return on investment. Capital cost or capacity. a relative measure of ski area's attributes. It is calculated by dividing GFA by skier capacity. Total revenue per skier visit. The actual revenue generated by the ski area for each skier day. Total expenses per skier visit. Actual expense for each skier day is calculated by dividing all the expenses. Summer in the mountains. The majority of resorts are very seasonal, meaning that they can only generate revenue for roughly 100 days. Outdoor water parks. Lately, the success of outdoor water parks has been in the news. Camelback ski resort's transformation into Camel Beach Water Park made history as the first ski resort ever to make huge commitment. The water parks creates per cap revenue over $24 and finally has positive cash flow. Four-season resort. The strategy for becoming a four-season resort is to expand and create winter and summer facilities and activities in order to attract more guests. Conference centers. The conference center is preferable to a traditional hospitality setting because the center is already designed to hold meetings efficiently. A new kind of resort. Base village resorts. Nowadays, people came to resort towns in order to ride horses or mountain bikes as much as they do to ski. The village center is the key feature. Resorts focusing on programming. Smuggler's Notch has extensive programming that ensures that it's even busier during the summer than it is in the winter time. Problems. There are many benefits to converting a winter-only ski resort into a full-use four-season resort. One of the problems are housing crunch. Because of the real estate boom in these high country destinations, many of the resort's employees have been forced to seek housing far away from the resort town. Growing smartly. Another resorts are learning how imperative it is that they control the form and pace of their expansion. That's all.